Thank you for joining this Monday classroom session. My name's Noah Valladolid, and similar to other Monday classroom sessions, we're going to begin in just a moment. I see people are still jumping onto the conference right now, jumping into the webinar. So if you need to get a cup of coffee, we're going to wait just a few more moments to make sure that everybody gets connected to the presentation, and then we'll begin. So again, just a few more moments. If you want to get your cup of coffee or get your notebook out, now is the time. Okay, it looks like our attendees are all jumping in right now. So let's go ahead and begin. So again, my name is Noah Valladolid, and this is the Shortcut software. It's the Monday classroom session. Today, we're going to be focusing on online booking and then My Local Salon and Spotlight. So this is how you would track your ratings and reviews if you're sending surveys to customers. So similar to other presentations, this webinar is approximately 30 minutes, a little more usually than that, and we'll allow a little bit of extra time just to take some questions. So again, similar to other presentations, my microphone is on, everybody else is muted, so hopefully you're actually hearing me say these things. So we can take questions in the middle as we're actually going through the presentation. And on the right side, you should have a little question, a little chat window where you can just type in a message. And of course, at the very end, we'll also allow time for questions. Plus, we'll give you of course, our phone number and our website where you can visit us later. So the learning outcomes for today, we're going to be focusing on some of the Shortcuts online services. So what are some of the online console settings you should know about? If you're one of our US customers using our console, are you currently using your My Local Salon page? Are you using specials? How do you link to Facebook if you would like to share your customer feedback, your customer surveys to Facebook and Instagram? Your Spotlight settings. How do you actually generate your website plugin if you decide that you want to share your survey results on your own company webpage? So that's what we're going to look at today. So the first thing you want to do in the actual Shortcuts point of sale is you want to configure your system so that you're ready to actually accept online bookings. So there's a few ways to do that. The easiest way is to go into your service menu, and there's a column in the middle of your screen that says web. And to make your services available, you just click the web checkbox. If you go into the options window, you also have a little checkbox that allows your services to be bookable via the web. And I'll show you this live demonstration in just a moment. So enabling the services, that's the first thing you want to do if you're going to allow customers to make appointments with you online. The second thing you want to do is in some locations, certain barbershops, certain salons, certain spas, not everybody on staff performs all of the services. So when you need to filter or help the customer filter out who is available for which specific service, that's when you want to use capabilities. You can tell Shortcuts to create special capabilities. So for example, if you have a hair team, one team does the haircut, one team does the color, then you can actually tell Shortcuts, these are my employees that do color, and these are my employees that do haircuts. So when a customer makes an appointment online, it always goes to the correct person. So we're going to learn about setting up capabilities as well. So you'll choose your services, you'll set your capabilities, and right away Shortcuts is able to start helping customers filter out who is available. So we'll talk about the console for enabling services in the console in just a moment. So let's actually get into shortcuts and do a live demo. So in shortcuts, your system is actually synchronizing in multiple places. On the right side, the first place I talked about was under the Setup button and into the Service menu. So in my pretend barbershop, I have four main categories. If I decide certain services should be available for online booking, this is the column I was referring to. In the middle of the screen, it says Web. And if I want a service to appear online, I just click this little checkbox. So certain services, for example, hairline cleanup, hair tattoo, the time for that sometimes varies, so I do not necessarily want to allow customers to book this online. As you're actually configuring these services, so I'll choose my executive cut, for example. If I go to the Details button on the bottom right corner, I can set my time and my price for this service, but on the bottom left corner, there's a little checkbox that says, Can be booked via web, and that's under the options for this service. This would be the same thing as clicking the web checkbox on my service menu. So once I've told Shortcuts which services I'm going to allow online, then I should tell Shortcuts which employees are available online. So to do that, I'm going to go to Capabilities. So this is where I can create an actual filter to show who is available for a certain service. So if I have certain employees that have the license to perform straight razor cuts, for example, I want to make sure they're the only ones that get booked for that. So to create a capability, on the bottom left corner, I'll press the New button. Now traditionally, you want to set the capability name after a specific service category or group of services. So in this case, I'll say razor. Razor/shaves. Now that I have a name, at the bottom of the screen, the bottom center, I can tell Shortcuts which employees are allowed to perform this service. So I'll say Andy and George and Matt, but not Brad, are on my razor team. So I'll press Add, and their names move from the left screen to the right screen. So this is my group, Andy, George, and Matt. When I press Done, Shortcuts is going to ask me, okay, now that I have a team, please assign at least one service to this team. So at the bottom center of the screen, I'll choose Service, and I'll tell Shortcuts, is this the team that's doing specific shaves, or is this doing all of the shaving services? So I can choose my entire shave category. This is the only team allowed to do that. And I'll press Add. So now Shortcuts knows whenever a customer goes to online booking and wants to book any one of my shave services, these are the only 3 employees that are available for that. Now every other service on my menu, any employee can perform. Any employee can perform my haircuts. Any employee can perform my basic color services. So in that scenario, I do not have to create a special capability for them. If you have a salon, and this salon has more high-end color services and a more diverse team, then you may want to create a basic color service that 90% of your employees can do, and then an advanced color service that perhaps only 1 or 2 employees can do, similar to waxing services. If it's a basic wax, an eyebrow wax or a chin wax, and any staff member can perform that, then you don't necessarily create a capability. But if you have an esthetician and they're the ones that perform the other waxing services, then absolutely create a capability for that. So we told Shortcuts which services are available online. We told Shortcuts which employees have capabilities for certain services. On the right side, so far we're still under the setup and shortcuts. I'm going to go to the employees button because this is something you may not be aware of. When you're looking at your employee screen, let's say I had a brand new hire. So remember, Brad is not available to do certain services, my razor services. If Brad was a brand new hire and I did not want him even being available for online booking for any service, then in the bottom center of the screen, there's a little checkbox that says available for online booking. So if Brad was perhaps my apprentice and I don't want to allow customers to book him online, I can disable that. So that comes in handy when you have a team that's new to your salon, still trying to get the timing down. You can always disable that availability for them. And then once they're up to speed, you can just enable this, and then in a matter of minutes, online booking will start to allow customers to make appointments with them. Now the last little piece. So we're able to choose the staff. We're able to tell shortcuts which members of the staff can perform certain services and which services are available for online booking. You can also set your staff schedules. And this is very important because online booking will look at who's available for a service, when their working schedule is. So you want to get into the habit of putting in your staff schedules for as far in advance as possible, whether it's for a month, preferably 3 months, or even further out. So customers that make online bookings can book that far in advance. So when you get a chance, make sure to book not just the days that the staff is available, but also the days off for every member of the staff. Those are very important as well. The other thing that actually synchronizes for online services is your business hours. So if you're extending your business hours, let's say through the summer or through the holiday season, don't forget to go to Setup Configuration, and on the left side of the screen, under General, go to General Business. So whatever your business hours are here, this will actually synchronize online. So again, when customers are making an appointment online, shortcuts will show them the actual times the business is open. Okay, so now that we have all of our shortcuts point of sale set up, the services, the staff, and the hours, now we're going to see how that works with what's called the console. So the console, in case you haven't used it in a while or in case you're not familiar with it, so the console is what allows you to set what exactly are the services and when can customers make an appointment. So this is what synchronizes your company information, the instructions that a customer sees when they're making an appointment, and other contact details. So what is the console? What is My Local Salon? What is all of this about? So let's jump into the console. So the majority of you, I hope, are already familiar with the console. And we'll go to that window. And I'm just going to check really quickly. Okay. Thankfully, nobody's asked a question just yet. So the console page. In case you've never visited or it's been a while or you have it bookmarked and you forgot the address, it's console.shortcutsoftware.com. So this is where you control your online services. On the left side, the first two buttons you should always know about are company settings and site settings. When you go to company settings, this is where you can upload your company logo. The logo that is here will actually go and appear on your online booking page. So as you scroll down, there's information that you can fill in. For example, the default instructions are always in English. But let's say you have a large Latin community and you'd like to offer your online booking instructions in Spanish as well. So if you press this green plus button, I can tell shortcuts my secondary language for instructions will actually be Spanish. So I'll look at my list, and if I press save, now I have two different languages available. English is the default and Spanish is the secondary. So I'll scroll down again. And as you continue, there's more information that you can fill in. If you are a multiple site location, that's where this message comes into play. Site selection text. So this is where Shortcuts Online Booking will say, okay, please choose which of my 2 or 3 salons you want to make an appointment for. After that, this is where you tell Shortcuts, whenever a customer makes an online appointment and they get a confirmation email, what should be in that email? So these are the default instructions. Shortcuts will automatically put in the customer's name, it'll put in your site name, it'll put in your address, and it'll even put in your phone number. So all of that is automatically populated. And then at the bottom of the email, the message will say your booking details are as follows. And it'll put in the day and the time of their appointment. So you can actually personalize this message. So perhaps for some locations, when you send the email, you don't like to use the word booking, you prefer reservations. So right away, we can actually start to change that message. So the subject can now say, this is my site's reservation confirmation. And the message itself will say, thank you for making a reservation. The other thing you can do with this message is provide a little bit of information. If you are a new client, please plan to arrive at least 10 minutes early for your appointment. So perhaps the customer can fill in a client card or you can get some other information. So we just ask the customer, please plan to arrive at least 10 minutes early for your appointment. So as you go through, this screen always has default instructions that Shortcuts recommends. We always recommend that the customer chooses a category, chooses a service, and either chooses an employee or lets the computer choose an employee on their behalf. So you can always update that information a little bit. So perhaps you only allow the customer to choose the name of the employee or any employee. You don't necessarily have a male and a female staff, so you want to eliminate those instructions. You can change that. The other thing that Shortcuts does is it says, okay, once you have your service, please choose a day and a time. And then the customer can go ahead and do that. So the company settings really are where you give the customer instructions for online booking. We'll go back to the main page. The next button are your site settings. So what site settings control are the details, the description of what appears on your site. Now, if you are a Shortcuts US customer and you have the console, you may have what's called the My Local Salon page. And what the My Local Salon page is a directory listing. So if your site, your salon, or your spa doesn't have its own web page, perhaps you take appointments from Facebook or from another third-party site, My Local Salon allows your customers to make appointments using online booking there. It'll show your business address, it'll show your phone hours, your phone number and your business hours, and even a little map. So this is one way to help you have an actual online presence, even if you don't have a dedicated web page. It's called My Local Salon. So the information that you put in here will actually start to populate that page. So if I go to My Local Salon, and this is a directory listing, www.mylocalsalon.com. If you've ever done a Google search or a Bing search for a particular service, let's say you needed new tires, and you just type the word tire shop, then Google will check your area and say, okay, well, this is a list of tire shops based on roughly your area or your zip code. So you've probably noticed that the top third of the webpage is sort of sponsored results. What My Local Salon does is it tries to help push these results to Google and to the other search engines, because the My Local Salon page is constantly being updated. Every one of the sites that are on here are constantly being updated because of customer feedback, because of customer reviews. So that helps the search engines find them. It's one of the ways that we have what's called search engine optimization. So in this case, if I were to just do a general search for kids' haircuts, I'm not mentioning a city or a zip code. So right away, the directory listing gives me a few options. So right here, Freddie B, for example, one of our favorite salons, this would be what's considered a short description. So in 220 characters or less, what is it that makes Freddie's salon unique? And right from here, you can see what days of the week is Freddie open. If I want to make an appointment, I can press book now. And if I want to find out more about his salon, I can click the link and actually get a bigger description of what's available. So this is where the longer description falls into play. As I scroll down, I can see the map where he's located, his business hours, what payment types he accepts, what services he performs, any brands he carries, and his customer surveys. So since his customers are constantly filling out the surveys, this is how the search engines are able to find Freddie's salon again and again. It's because these surveys are always being published. So in your site settings, this is where you control your contact information, and you can begin to tell shortcuts, what brands do you carry? So the information that's here, when you're in the console, you'll actually notice that your business hours are set in military time, that 24-hour time. Well, don't worry, because when a customer goes to your actual online booking page, it'll be AM and PM instead. So if you haven't already started doing this, go ahead and go to your company settings, update your instructions, and go into your site settings and update this information as well. In the middle of the screen, your Book Me settings. So this is where you tell shortcuts how many days in advance can a customer make an appointment. 1 day in advance, 2 days in advance, up to how far in advance can a customer make an appointment. 60 days, 90 days, 200 days, you can adjust this. And then you can even tell shortcuts. Are customers allowed to cancel their online booking? Are they allowed to change the service that they have? So these details all control that information that the customer can see and how far in advance they can make an appointment. Now this part, service booking order, this is important if you have a salon that has a large number of different chemical services, color services, as well as haircutting services. We don't want customers to accidentally book the wrong service. So for example, if a customer wanted to get a haircut, but they also wanted to get some color, you don't want the customer to accidentally book the haircut before the color. So what you would do is you would tell shortcuts, oh, on my service booking order, a color service or a chemical service will be priority number 1. And a haircut service will be priority number 2. So in this way, if the customer uses online booking and they accidentally choose haircut first, online booking will actually put them in the right order and then put that appointment on your books. So remember that. This is yet another way that Shortcuts helps your customers make the correct bookings with the right employees. On this window, there is a button that says Facebook main page. Now, you might think this is the page that you go to when you want to add online booking to your Facebook. Not necessarily. This is actually the place that you go to when you want to allow customers to make or to actually have the ability to share their comments, their feedback on your Facebook page. So you personally approve their surveys, and this is where we tell Shortcuts, okay, every time I approve and I want to share a survey on Facebook, which page should it go to? So we'll pause for a moment and we'll go back into our slideshow because this starts to catch us up to where we are. So in the console, company settings, site settings, and Book Me settings. So those are all the important things to start to configure when you go into the console. So those are the big three. Company settings, where you put in your instructions, site settings, where you update your business contact information, and of course, online booking. So then, My Local Salon, the information that you actually put in your site settings page will also populate into your My Local Salon settings, so you don't have to type the same information 2 times. If you get a chance, you want to upload pictures and add what's called pictures into your My Local Salon gallery. So perhaps your favorite customers, if they sign a model release form, of course, for your actual salon. So really nice images. You can upload them into the galleries. Plus, with My Local Salon, you have the ability to create a special. So traditionally on slow days, your Mondays, your Tuesdays, you can create a special for a certain day of the week, make it worth a certain dollar or percentage off their visit, and you can even restrict it. So you can say, okay, for my new team, they don't have a lot of customers yet, so I'm going to try to drum up business for them. And I'll say, okay, book an appointment on a Monday or Tuesday with this particular employee and get $5 off your visit. So that way they start to get customers in the chair and they start to become familiar with the community members. So that's how specials in the My Local Salon works. So we're actually going to jump into the console again. And we'll go back. So your My Local Salon link. So again, any information that you put in your site settings will also populate here. If you have your own dedicated company webpage, this is where you can add that particular website. So even though Freddie B, for example, has a My Local Salon page, he also has his own company page. So perhaps you want to allow customers to view his actual website. So we actually have the link so that customers can visit that page. Now I'll actually bring it up on my browser so you can see it. And I'll just type the URL in. So Freddie has his own webpage, but to try to increase the visibility of his website, he also has a My Local Salon page, because the more places where customers can find him online, the easier it is for them to make appointments. So you have all of that ability in your My Local Salon settings. You can tell shortcuts. What services do you allow? Oh, I do haircuts, I do nail services, waxing. Every time you enable one of these checkboxes, that actually turns on these little filters that appear on My Local Salon. So it's a little icon, a little directory listing that says, oh, this site does men's services, women's services, we do extensions, we do straightening, we do weddings, things like that. And of course, on the right side, you can always add images into your gallery. So once all of this information is filled in, at the very top of the page, don't forget to activate your listing on My Local Salon. So that officially turns it on for your site, allows customers to find you easier. Now, the surveys themselves. To control the surveys, you want to go to Spotlight on the top left corner. Now, in my scenario, I have multiple salons, so I have a bunch of tiles where it says NPS, no NPS data. So if you have one site, then really you're just going to have one tile that you focus on. Pressing the tile button is the same thing as pressing the reviews button on the right side of the screen. They take you to the same page. Once you're here, you'll actually see the surveys where the customer left the response. So let me jump into one of those sites. Now, after 14 days, the salon or the review will automatically get posted into your My Local Salon page. So again, that's one of the ways to optimize your site for search engines, because your My Local Salon gets those surveys posted every couple of weeks. But once you get a survey, there's a few things you can do with that survey. So I mentioned, if I liked it, I can press the Facebook share button, type in a short message, and that message and the review will appear on my Facebook page. And on the right side, What else do I have? What other options do I have? If I have a list of surveys and I want to come back to them later, I can always flag them for review, and the console will put a little pin with that survey and remind you, hey, go back and take a look at this one. If I go to details for the survey, so I have a few things that I get. I get my ratings, my star ratings, what the customer said, and comments. You have two different types of comments, a public comment and a private comment. So the public comment. When this survey gets published on My Local Salon, whatever public comment I put in there also gets published alongside it. So the customer said a lot of nice things. I can post a public comment and I can say, this customer, Gio, hey, I really like it when Gio comes in. He's such a great personality and everybody in my salon loves him. So that will appear with the survey. Private comment. So a private comment is a one-time message that you can send to a customer. So if a customer had a bad experience, there was a miscommunication, something happened, and they gave you a really bad review, you can go into this window, go to this private comment section, and then give the customer your name, a contact number, and an email, and introduce yourself. Hi, I'm the owner. I'm the manager of this location. Let's discuss about what happened, and let's see how we can fix this for your next visit. When you do that, that sort of prompts the customer to go back and take another look at their survey. So it actually increases the likelihood that they'll go back and realize, okay, I was having a bad day. I really didn't mean to give them a really bad score because this was a great salon. Otherwise, there was just a minor miscommunication. And the customer can actually change their score. So this is, of course, a feature that no other survey, no other review site has. Once a customer is in the chair, once they get their email or they go home and they post their reviews on other third-party sites, you can't do anything about it. You can't remove them. You can't post really comments back to the customer that was leaving that. So the power is out of your hands. With Spotlight, that power gets returned to your hands. So you can actually send a private message just for that customer to find out what happened and give them the ability to change that score. And then once they do, maybe you can leave a public message as well and be completely transparent. This customer had a miscommunication with one of our staff members, but we got it resolved and we're absolutely happy to see them again. If the customer will not respond to your private comment and is just being a rude customer and no real rhyme or reason for that, you do have the ability to remove that score, that rating, so that it never appears on your My Local Salon page. And of course, you're not going to share this on your Facebook or your own company page. So you can remove up to 3 surveys every 6 months. So we try to be transparent about the process, and we don't want you to just delete every review so that you only have 100% positive score, because no matter how great you or your staff are, there's always going to be that one cranky customer that makes it that you're a 97, a 98% salon, which is still outstanding, an outstanding score. So just keep that in mind. You do have the ability to share those great reviews on Facebook. They will appear on your My Local Salon page, and you also have the ability to publish them on your own website. So this is something that Freddie B actually does. If we go to his team page, and you notice on the right side of the screen, there's a column that says reviews. So every once in a while, Freddie goes through his Spotlight surveys, and he picks and chooses some of the surveys from his customers that really mention specific employees, so that when customers visit his webpage, they can put the name of the employee and the review, they can put the face and the name together. So if you notice, every few seconds, Spotlight will automatically scroll to the next survey. So this isn't some fancy thing that Freddie paid his web team to do to create some amazing script where the surveys appear here, the name and the star rating appears, and then they scroll to the next one. If you have a web page, Shortcuts actually has the code that you need to do the exact same thing. So if we go back to Spotlight, And on the right side, there is a button that says My Website Plugin. So this is where you tell Shortcuts, okay, how many reviews do I want to display at a time? The default is 3. So maybe on your webpage you want to keep it clean and simple and say, I'm only going to show 3 reviews at a time. But they're going to be out of a group of 20 that I've personally approved. And then how many seconds in between each one before it scrolls to the next one? 10 seconds in this case. If I were to press generate, then this is the actual code I would put on my webpage to have the surveys pop up, just like they do on Freddie's page. So Freddie actually has it set to 9 or 10 surveys that he shares at a time, and they wait 10 seconds in between each one. So you absolutely can customize this. The last little bit is the frequency of your surveys. So if we go to the Settings tab, this is where you tell Shortcuts, how often should customers get a survey? Now the default setting in Shortcuts is the very first time a customer visits, if you get their email, they will get 1 survey right away. But then when should their follow-up survey be? Should it be once a month, once every 3 months, or twice a year, or once a year? So even if you had a customer and they've been visiting you for years, but only recently did you get their email, then the day they get that you get their email and they opt in to receive ratings and reviews, they'll get a survey right away. But then you need to tell Shortcuts, when should their follow-up survey be? And then down near the bottom, you have 3 options from Shortcuts where you can actually tell Shortcuts, how many emails would I like to get as the business owner, as the manager? Do I want to get a daily email? So do I want Shortcuts to tell me, today I sent out 12 surveys, 2 customers responded to the survey? Or the contact notification. So when the customer completes the survey, there's actually a checkbox that says, I would like to be contacted by the site. So it sort of gives you the heads up. Maybe there's something this customer wants to discuss with you. So then you can read their survey and then send them the private message with your phone number or email. Then there's the detractor notification. So the surveys, they're on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. The people that score you a 9 or 10 in any category, these are considered promoters. These are the ones that jump on Facebook, jump on their social media and say, I really like this salon, you should check them out. The people that score you in a 7 or an 8, these are considered passives. Maybe they're new in town, they're still trying out different salons, so they haven't made their decision as to, okay, which is my favorite salon, or which is my preferred salon. So they're neither advertising for you, nor are they saying bad things. But anybody that scores you a 6 or below in any category, these are considered detractors. So these are the people that jump on their social media, tell their friends and family, I did not like this salon, don't go there, you're not going to like them. So as soon as that happens, Shortcuts can actually send you an email to say this customer gave you a low score. So this is your chance to look at their review, to send them that private message, introduce yourself, and see how you can fix it for their next visit. So right away, you're capturing these messages, you're responding to customers, you're staying engaged, and you increase the likelihood that your scores will improve and that you've actually made a lifelong customer. Now the customer does not necessarily see where the emails go to, so at the very bottom of the window, this is where you would put in your either personal or your business email. So spotlight surveys. If you're using My Local Salon, or if you have your own web page, you can post those surveys there. You can create specials to drum up business on slow days for My Local Salon. You can set your Facebook page that you're going to share your surveys to by using your Book Me settings. And remember, it's right in the middle of your list, Facebook main page. Don't forget to give Shortcuts permission to post those surveys on your behalf. Use your spotlight surveys. So keep track of your customers, keep track of their feedback, stay engaged with the community, and help increase the visibility when customers are searching for your business. Spotlight will keep track of your business, will keep track of your customer feedback, and it'll show you how you're rating from month to month and even year to year and even against the industry averages. Don't forget to configure your settings. Choose the frequency. Should it be every visit, once a month, once every few months? And then respond to customers. Add the link so that you can have your own website plugin and share those surveys that you personally approve right on your website. So I just noticed that I misspelled client, iClient. I guess that's a new word. So share your reviews on social media, share them on your personal page, and of course, My Local Salon will automatically post those reviews. Don't forget to respond to your reviews. It's every now and then, even if customers don't expect you to leave a public message when they post a glowing review, it's always nice to say that you actually care about your customers and you're genuinely invested in what they have to say about you and your staff. And of course, if a customer is just being rude and is not responding, you can delete that survey. So today, we've learned about our console settings. What in Shortcuts synchronizes with the console? Your services, your staff schedules, your capabilities. You should be setting up a My Local Salon page if you haven't already. Create some specials on slow days or for new staff members. You should link your survey results to Facebook. Now for Instagram, you don't really have the ability to put surveys in Instagram. Those you would paste your business information under your bio in Instagram, just to clarify. And of course, make sure you're setting your spotlight settings, your frequency, you're responding to customer feedback through private or public messages, and you're sharing them on Facebook. So we have previous webinars available on our Shortcuts webinar library. So you're welcome to visit those and revisit those anytime you want. So now we're going to allow a moment for questions and answers regarding Spotlight or My Local Salon. So on the right side of the screen, if you have any questions, go ahead and post those questions. You should have a questions or a chat window. And if not, I'll give it a moment. I think everybody's furiously writing down notes right now. Okay, but if you think of a question, we're going to wrap up this presentation. You can always email the education team. So if you think of something after the fact, you can go ahead and reach out to us, education@shortcuts.net. We also respond to any questions that come up on our Facebook page. Give us a call. And thank you for your attendance. We appreciate it. So again, reach out to us if you think of anything after the fact, and we will share a copy of this presentation with you once it's converted a little bit later today. So I look forward to seeing you on our next classroom session. Thank you for attending, and this has been a Shortcuts Monday classroom session. My name is Noah. Have a great day.